From a Ghanaian resident, 3 meters tall. Because of my height, I realized that this mattress is just ridiculously small for me. To a woman whose bust size once literally sent her tumbling down the stairs, Africa has become the birthplace of people with anatomy so unusual it seems fantastical. Get ready to see 20 people with the most outstanding body parts in Africa. Once he held the title of the tallest man in the world, but the life of Hussein Bissad was far from a fairy tale. Originally from Somalia, he reached an incredible 7 feet 9 inches. That is approximately 2 meters 36 centimeters. His height is impossible not to notice, but behind the imposing figure lies a story with no less weight. Hussein suffers from acromegaly, a rare disease caused by a tumor affecting the production of growth hormone. This ailment made him not only tall, but also the owner of some of the largest palms in the world, more than 10 inches in length, which is about 25.4 centimeters. He is a huge man. How tall are you, Hussein? Right now, 8 feet 1 inch. That is approximately 2 meters 46 centimeters. Yes, that sounds impressive, but behind it lies a constant struggle. Fleeing the civil war in Somalia, he sought asylum in the United Kingdom, hoping for a safe life. But instead of peace, he faced new trials, health problems, loneliness, limited mobility. Today, in his 40s, Hussein lives in a nursing home where he requires round-the-clock assistance. And yet, despite the pain and isolation, he has not lost his inner strength. The phrase "to grow without stopping" for Suleiman Abdul Samed is not a figurative expression, but a daily reality. He towers over all of Ghana so much that it seems as if he looks at the world from the balcony of the 3rd floor. In his native northern town of Gambaha, he is called Ao, which in the Dagbani language means "let's go." Perhaps he was nicknamed that, because to keep up with his steps, you have to run with a hop. The latest measurement showed a staggering 9 feet 6 inches. That is approximately 2 meters 90 centimeters, and it seems the growth still continues. Doctors believe that Suleiman has a rare form of gigantism. The pituitary gland produces too much growth hormone. But this is not just about an unusual size. It is about the struggle for survival, spinal curvature, swelling of the limbs, constant pain, and all this in a small town where there are no necessary specialists and equipment. The first time the medics tried to measure him, their tape measure ran out halfway. They had to guess. Later, when the hospital saw the real numbers, they were stunned. Now about Joyce Ado, whom the internet lovingly and accurately nicknamed Busty GH. This Ghanaian socialite seems to defy the laws of gravity. Her outstanding bust is so large that, as Joyce herself admits, when she wears a bra, she simply cannot see what is in front of her. In an interview with DJ Nyami on SVTV Africa, she told a story that made many ask if they had heard correctly. While going down the stairs, she stumbled because her own bust completely blocked her view. The result? A fall and several weeks in the hospital. She even jokes that she sees better without a bra. Maybe the problem is not the size, but the bras themselves? But jokes aside, Joyce wears both her curves and her scars with pride. In a world where women are often pushed to shrink, such boldness deserves applause. Perhaps from a safe distance. Long before the era of viral videos about giants, Gabriel Miane was already towering over everyone. His height reached 8 feet and 3/4 of an inch. That is approximately 2 meters, 45 centimeters. He was not only the tallest man in Mozambique, but for a time also held the title of the tallest man on the planet. Born in 1944, Gabriel grew faster than everyone from childhood due to a rare disease, acromegaly, caused by an excess of growth hormone. Already as a teenager, he outgrew everyone and everything. But behind this record height were trials, chronic pain, serious difficulties with movement, and a lack of medical care in rural Africa. Nevertheless, he performed in circuses, traveled to countries, and in 1988 entered the Guinness World Records. But the last years turned out to be hard. In 1990, he fell at home and died at the age of 46 years. He left too early, but remained in memory forever. When people talk about dedication, John Veru takes this concept to a whole new level, with 10 fingers at once. This man from Kenya has become the record holder for the longest fingernails in Africa, and this side is hard to forget. John has been growing his nails for more than 25 years, and each of them exceeds a length of 1 foot. That is more than 30 centimeters. My goal is to break the world record and get into the Guinness World Records right here in Changamwe. His nails are not just keratin. They are curved, twisted, carefully groomed claws that have become part of his identity. Yes, people stare. Someone calls it strange, but for John, it is a symbol of personal pride and proof that discipline can grow into something unique. He does not use any special products, only patience, neatness, and absolute caution. Ordinary actions turn into a quest. Buttoning a button, shaking a hand, even just typing a message on the phone. All this requires a special approach. But he does not give up. His nails are his story. Some do not understand, some joke, but John moves forward. When Manut stepped onto an NBA court, the crowd's attention was riveted to him from the first second. At a height of 7 feet 7 inches, that is 2 meters 31 centimeters, he was one of the tallest players in the history of the league, and certainly one of the most memorable. But few know that his greatest achievements were not in the basketball arena, but at home in Sudan. Born in 1962 among the Dinka people, Manut possessed abnormally long limbs and a wingspan of 8 feet 6 inches, about 2 meters 59 centimeters. He could block shots without even jumping. Coaches joked that, on defense, he was like a skyscraper guarding the rim. However, he came to the NBA not for a show. His mission was deeper, to help his country. When Sudan was torn by civil war, Manut became a voice for peace and a support for his people. He donated millions of dollars, almost everything he earned, to build schools, hospitals, to help war victims. These sacrifices cost him dearly. He lost his fortune, his health began to fail. But even under the weight of problems, he continued to fight. They do not need Rapunzel fairy tales. The women of the Umbalanu people of Namibia are real African Rapunzels, whose hair did not just reach the waist, but lay on the ground. For generations, they have been known as the owners of some of the longest natural hair on the entire continent. But the secret is not only in genetics. It was a rite, patience, and tradition. From childhood, girls underwent special care rituals. A mixture of natural oils, herbs, tree bark, and crushed ochre was used. Hair was braided into protective styles, lengthened with woven fibers, and over time turned into true masterpieces. By the time a girl became a woman, her hair was not just long, it became a cultural crown. At weddings, initiations, and festivals, hairstyles turned into works of art. They are easy to recognize by their bright red shukas, proud gaze, and unspoken self-confidence. The Maasai people, living in Kenya and northern Tanzania, are not only a cultural symbol of Africa, but also one of the tallest ethnic groups on the continent. The average height of men here is about 6 feet 3 inches, which is approximately 1 meter 91 centimeters, but many exceed even these figures. The Maasai do not just walk tall, they live at height. And it is not only about genes. Traditionally, the Maasai are herders. Their diet is rich in milk, meat, and in some cases, cow's blood. Such nutrition, together with an active lifestyle, herding cattle, long treks, and ritual dances with high jumps, shapes their lean, powerful, and enduring bodies. Especially impressive is their famous Adumu rite, the jumping dance, when men, competing, soar upward with straight legs as if defying gravity itself. For them, it is not just a performance, but a symbol of strength, courage, and dignity. Despite the pressure of modernity and land conflicts, the Maasai continue to defend their culture and live in harmony with traditions that are passed from generation to generation. NBA players tower over most people, but next to Abiodun Adegoke, even they look not tall. His height, 7 feet 11 inches, which is approximately 2 meters 41 centimeters, makes him perhaps the tallest basketball talent the world has seen. Nicknamed Big Niga, he was born in Nigeria and from early years amazed everyone with his incredible height. Usually, giant children are clumsy in movement, but Abiodun is an exception. He moves easily, possesses excellent coordination, quick feet, and a crazy ability to block shots just by raising his hands. His exact height became a mystery. Some sources named 7 feet 9 inches, 2 meters 36 centimeters, others 7 feet 11 inches, 2 meters 41 centimeters. Even scouts could not decide which figure was correct. But one thing was clear. When a guy of such height appears on the court and with such mobility, the game changes. A video where he dunks the ball without even jumping exploded the internet. What is more, even NBA legend Shaquille O'Neal personally paid attention to him. However, the path to the dream was not easy. In Nigeria, professional training, quality shoes, or medical care are not always available. But Abiodun continues to move forward, not only for the NBA, but also to become an inspiration for others. Most young athletes only dream of the big stage, and he is already there. At the age of only 17 years, he fights in Olympic qualifying matches, playing against experienced professionals and bringing glory to his country. His height is 7 feet 2 inches, which is approximately 2 meters 18 centimeters, and he is still growing. He was born in South Sudan, in conditions where life is not about medals, but about survival. But even amid hardships, his talent was impossible not to notice. Thanks to the support of the NBA Academy Africa, he received the opportunity to train at a high level, developing not only physical data, but also basketball intelligence. He cannot find shoes of the right size, barely passes through doorways, and attracts glances anywhere. But Charles Sagley from Ghana is not looking for fame at all. He just wants to live an ordinary life in a body that is far from the notion of ordinary. His height exceeds 7 feet. That is more than 2 meters 13 centimeters. He is considered the tallest person in the Volta region. But with this height come problems. His feet are so large that shoes simply do not fit him. He is forced to walk barefoot, which is dangerous and painful. Charles's mother recalls that she carried him for a full 10 months. From birth, it was clear that he would be special. He grew rapidly, and the growth did not stop. Today, he faces simple but difficult tasks: to find clothes, furniture, transport that would fit his dimensions. Charles does not seek attention, does not try to get into the news. All he wants is medical help and a pair of custom-made shoes, so he does not walk the streets barefoot. What do we see? Two people with heads of such a shape and size that it seems as if satellite dishes are standing on their shoulders. Is it a joke? Maybe they are catching a Wi-Fi signal? Or is it simply the biggest heads in Africa? In front of us is a rare tribe or the work of Photoshop, where nature and imagination intertwined. Be that as it may, the head-to-shoulders proportions here are clearly unusual. Write your guesses in the comments. Few can say that they had a height of more than 8 feet, 2 meters, 44 centimeters, played for a national team, and acted in a cult film. But Sulian Ali Nush managed all that. He was born in 1943 in Tripoli, Libya. Childhood passed normally until in his teenage years, his body began to grow rapidly. Doctors discovered a tumor affecting the pituitary gland, which led to gigantism. His height reached 8 feet and 1/2 inch, that is approximately 2 meters 45 centimeters, which made him one of the tallest people in history. He used his height to dominate the basketball court as part of the Libyan national team, and later got into cinema, appearing in Federico Fellini's film Satyricon in 1969. In the very heart of Central Africa lives a people whose height has amazed researchers, travelers, and historians for decades. The Tutsi of Rwanda and Burundi are known not only for cultural heritage, but also for being called the tallest tribe in Africa, and perhaps in the entire world. The average height of men here exceeds 6 feet 1 inch. That is approximately 1 meter 85 centimeters, and many women almost catch up with the men. Long legs, slender figures, expressive features, all this creates their unique appearance. Scientists suggest that the secret lies in a combination of genetics, life in highlands, and traditional diet. But height is only part of their story. For centuries, the Tutsi were herders with royal lineage, occupying important positions in society. However, this also set them apart in periods of political instability, especially tragically, during the genocide in Rwanda in 1994, when hundreds of thousands of Tutsi were killed. Despite the horror endured, they continue to rebuild their communities, preserving culture and literally standing, both figuratively and physically, ahead above the rest. Tall, stately, with a physique as if made for sports, the Dinka people of South Sudan are one of the tallest ethnic groups in the world. The average height of men here reaches 6 feet 4 inches, approximately 1 meter 93 centimeters, and some members go over 7 feet, 2 meters 13 centimeters, without any gym training. But they are distinguished not only by their height, but also by their charisma. Long limbs, lean muscles, and proud posture create an impression of royal majesty. Scientists connect such physical data with genetics, a protein-rich diet based on milk and meat products, and life on the expanses of savannas. But behind the external data is a deep connection with the land and traditions. The Dinka tribe for centuries were herders, warriors, and spiritual leaders. Their silhouette has become a symbol of pride and unity in a country that has experienced decades of conflict. Do you think it is hard for you to find a suitable pair of shoes? For Brahim Takiula, it is not just a question, it is a whole epic. This native of Morocco is listed in the Guinness World Records as the person with the largest feet in the world. And we are not talking about slightly above average. Each of his feet reaches 1 foot 3 inches, that is approximately 39 centimeters in length. This is European size 58. Imagine what it is like to look for sneakers in an ordinary store. No way. All footwear for him is made to order by orthopedists. But that is not at all. Brahim himself is a real giant. His height is 8 feet 1 inch, which is approximately 2 meters 46 centimeters. All this is the result of acromegaly, a rare hormonal disorder due to a tumor near the pituitary gland. He was born in 1982 and for a long time did not notice that his body was changing. But by the age of 18 years, he already towered over teachers and doctors. Surgery helped stop the abnormal growth, but the sizes achieved remained forever. Forget circus tricks and viral videos. Francisco Domingo from Angola is officially recognized as the owner of the widest mouth in the world. And we are not talking about a small advantage. His jaw opens to an incredible 6.69 inches, which amounts to 17 centimeters. Yes, that is enough to put an entire soda can into his mouth crosswise, and there will still be room left. A native of Sambizanga, Francisco discovered his unique ability in his teenage years. Word spread quickly, and locals gathered to see how he stretched his lips and jaw to unimaginable sizes. Soon, he was already performing on international stages, evoking in audiences a mixture of shock and delight. But this is not a trick and not a stunt. No surgery, only unique anatomy. Doctors even studied his facial muscles and skin, trying to understand how his body breaks the usual laws of physiology. In 2010, he entered the Guinness World Records, and his fame instantly spread around the world. She does not wear a crown. She grows it. Asha Zulu Mandela is the woman with the longest dreadlocks in the world, and she has held this title for more than 10 years. Her hair has reached a length of over 110 feet. That is approximately 33.5 meters, which is longer than a city bus. Born in Trinidad and Tobago and later moving to the United States, Asha began growing dreadlocks more than 40 years ago, not for records, but as part of a spiritual path and personal rebirth. Over time, her hair became a symbol of strength, identity, and healing. But this beauty has a flip side. When dry, the dreadlocks weigh more than 25 pounds, about 11.3 kilograms, and even more when wet, which creates a serious load on the spine. Doctors warned of danger, but Asha is sure. Cutting the hair means losing a part of herself. She developed her own care without chemicals, relying on traditional methods. And despite criticism and accusations of obsession, she remains true to her roots in every sense. Deep in the Nile Valley lives the Nuer people of South Sudan, known not only for their independence and rich culture, but also for their tall height. Many Nuer men exceed 6 feet, that is approximately 1 meter 83 centimeters. By tradition, they are herders, and cows are not just livestock for them, but the center of life. Milk is not just food, but a sacred product. A diet rich in dairy and protein products, together with genetics, gives them outstanding physical data. But the main thing is that they have preserved their identity even in conditions of civil wars, resettlements, and political upheavals. Despite all the trials, the Nuer continue to live by their customs and do not allow the world to change their essence. All these people are proof that uniqueness makes us truly great. And sometimes the main thing to remember is, being different is your superpower. Thank you very much for watching, and right now, watch 2 of our previous episodes that have already appeared on your screen.